Thanks everyone for joining us. First of all, Happy New Year. Hopefully everyone enjoyed a nice break. I don't know about you, and I've been telling everyone on the team this, and everyone I've kind of seen in general, is that this holiday break felt longer. I don't know why. Is it the way that it all felt? Josh or Dave, did you feel the same way, or did it feel like normal?
No, it did. It felt a little normal. The year went faster, and I expect this year to accelerate, go even faster. It's going to be a wild year, but yeah, the break itself seemed a little longer.
I think it's with the 2 weekends, right? So you had a week, you had the Christmas on a weekend, and then you had a week, and then you had New Year's on a weekend. So you almost had like
a couple of days before, a couple of days after on each side. And well, listen, let every year be like that. It was a wonderful break. So I hope everybody enjoyed it, but we're pumped to get back and talking to you guys. And what are we talking about? Getting back to basics. I think this is really important for everyone. When we put key takeaways, those are if none of those things on that list excite you, this might be a good time to click off and go do some other work. But if that is what you want to hear, benefits of speed to lead, Josh, I can't wait to see the reports you're about to share with people and the numbers, insane statistics, strategies for creating opportunities. Amazing. We're going to talk about all three of us are going to get into that conversation. And this is important in years like this and last year. That is the time you move from good to great. And so we're going to talk about that as well. I'm Alex, Chief Visionary Officer and Chief Marketing Officer here at Sales Boomerang and Mortgage Coach. And of course, I have two amazing people here with me. Dave Savage, Chief Innovation Officer. Say hi, Dave.
What's up, everybody? Excited to be here.
And of course, CEO of Insellerate, Josh.
Howdy, everyone. Great to be here.
You are showing off there with that neon light. The more I look at it, the more I'm like, ooh.
That was an Instagram buy, by the way. That was a social media Instagram buy. They retargeted me for like 2 or 3 months, and I eventually bought it.
Get out of here. Explain. Hold on. So you went to look at something. They followed you around the web and got you.
I just kept seeing the ads, and sure enough, when I was ready to buy, there was an ad there, and it was the right time, and I bought it.
Well, here's something for all the marketers out there. Josh, was the ad that you saw always the same, or did it change depending on where you were?
It changed.
Take note, marketers out there. Don't give us the same thing over and over again.
Right.
If we didn't respond the first time, probably not going to respond the 100th time. All right. Great little extra insight. So let's get into a poll. We love to get you guys involved in the conversation. I love the chat. Keep the chat going. You know, we love when we all get to talking in these types of conversations. So how long does your organization take to respond to a borrower inquiry on average? Wait till you hear the results of this study. Now, if you're Josh's customer already and you're working with Insellerate, you may know because he's constantly giving his customers insights on what's happening. But if you're not, you're going to be, I know I was shocked and I get to look at these statistics over and over again. But this one is shocking. Let's see what the results are.
Give us your vote, guys. Give it quick.
I'm really curious to see how they think the organization does versus what the reality will be. Okay.
So under 5 minutes, 14%, between 6 minutes and 30 minutes, 47%. So we're right now. So what we're saying between 6 minutes and an hour is what, 77% or 79% of the vote is right in the middle. Josh?
Yeah, well, no, 79, well, 93% of the vote, they say they're getting in before an hour.
Before an hour,
93% of the people we just polled says they're going to do it within an hour.
Yes. And
we'll go to the slide.
This one? No.
We have the results. We do have these slides in here with the maybe a couple past that.
Oh yeah, let me see. Let's go to it.
All right, here we go. First, I'll give you some breakdown. We have now done this contact study for 6 years. We go out to roughly 500 lenders each time. We apply on their website and we track. Do they call us, email us, and text us? How long, how often, and what do they do? The first thing is, when everyone here thought that you guys can respond within the first hour, the reality is 40% of lenders we inquire with give us zero response. Don't call us, don't text us, don't email us, completely ignore it. The average, I think go to the next slide, the average response time, 19 hours.
Oh,
So I mean,
can we go back to this thing for 1 second, Josh?
Talking a day. Yeah.
Before we go to that, I think you already see Tina saying, wow. Can we unpack this for a second? Let's say there's 100, there's 200 people on here now. So let's use that statistic. If each one of you is with a new, now there's 202. If each one of you is an individual lender, that means there are 80 people, 80 lenders on this call that never respond at all. Is that correct, Josh?
That's right. I mean, and it's been this way for 6 years. It used to be 60% of lenders did not respond. So there has been an improvement over the 6 years. And then what's interesting to note is, a lot of people on the call said, hey, we're going to respond within an hour. And the reality of it is your customer actually expects their call within 30 minutes. Like there's study after study after study shown. MIT did a study that says if you call a lead in 5 minutes versus 30 minutes, you're 100 times more likely to get a hold of the lead at 5 minutes versus 30 minutes. So
100 times more likely.
5 minutes versus 30 minutes. Yep. There's an MIT study done a handful of years ago. So I mean, the stuff really does make sense, because if you think about it, the average consumer is like 80-something% of consumers take a loan with the first loan officer they take an application with. So think about it. If you're the first person to talk to someone, you make that connection, you're giving them service. Of course, they're going to have a much higher chance to buy with you. So what we saw was, of the 500 lenders, the ones that the 300 did respond, 19 hours for them to respond. So you're talking a day. The average lender is a day. And think about that. You've all had the experience where you're wanting to buy something and you go online or you call someone because you're wanting to do something and you ask for it, and then a few hours go by, a day goes by, you don't have as much excitement anymore to buy that or to move forward, right? And then it's, how do you stay in front of these people? 11% of people use text messaging, right? So, and we know that text message is the most highly responded to form of communication and read communication that you can possibly do with your borrower.
Give us a quick emoji. Give us a quick thumbs up if you like to use text, not in the chat. Put this, we want to see these things flying around. If you use text for your main communication.
Yeah. I mean, we all do. It's so convenient. I can respond in my time. I can keep it as short or as long as I want, right? You have so much control around text messaging.
Yes.
Yet only 11% of lenders used it, right, in their strategy. And then another one of the stats was, of the lenders we pulled, only 1% called, emailed, and texted the lead.
Only
so 1%.
That's right there.
You're right there, 1%. So it's 4 out of 500. So it's actually less than 1% of the lenders called, emailed, and texted the lead. So I mean, it's astonishing. I mean, it really shows that the industry, we do not give great service to our customers. We don't respond when they need us to respond. We aren't giving them what they need. And, it's not super difficult to stand out in this industry in that sense.
Yes.
Just give good service. I was part of a bank called People's Bank, and it sold in 2018. But one of the things that we did is we had the lowest cost of funds. We're in like the top 0.1% decile of all of America, the lowest cost of funds. And the way we did that was this: the average bank has an 83% satisfaction rating, similar to a mortgage company. So it's not that hard to just stand out, right? Hey, if most people don't like, who they're working with, you just give a little bit better service and people are going to love you. And for us at the bank, what that meant was no free check-in. We didn't pay you much on your savings account, but yet we had customers that loved us and just wanted to use us more and more because we gave them great service.
Yes.
So first thing is communication is the service thing. I mean, that's one of the quickest things. We all know it. You call someone, trying to get a hold of someone, they don't call you, you don't get the information you need. It's not timely, it's not relevant. That's bad service.
So what can everyone on this call do with this information? I mean, like, that's great. And first of all, I'm hoping everyone is taking this and understanding that this is the 6th year this has been run. And so this isn't a guess. There's a trend line that's been followed. And actually, the industry has gotten better. But guys, if this is better, what are we doing? So let's talk about, first of all, can people see inside their organization that this is occurring? How can they see? And then how do they solve this? Let's get into those conversations.
Yeah, I mean, here's what I would say. And I always recommend: secret shop yourself. Go to your website, apply for a mortgage right now and see what happens. See what emails you get, what the communication structure looks like. Does someone call you, text you? How often? When do they do it? You can figure that out kind of quickly. And then you can also ask yourself the question of, do you have the technology to automate it? And that's been the challenge, is that the technology to automate this hasn't been out there. A lot of lenders do not have phone call automation or lead call, automatic text message with lead distribution, automatic reminder. So there's been a lack of technology out there. So two things: one, figure out how you're doing, test it. And then if you aren't doing well, then find a solution that can help you automate it. Right?
So let's pause for a second. So number one is analytics, right? Understand your business. Number one. So understand what's happening and not happening. And then go ahead. So I'm gonna make sure people understand your business. Number one.
Understand your business. Go through. I would actually whiteboard my customer experience. Make a call, make an inquiry, and then you just see all the experience, what happens. So understand what you're doing well and not, so that you can find out what you need to improve. And if you don't have stuff that's automating these kind of communications, then go out and find a solution that does.
Yes.
Right. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, there really isn't really many solutions that did this. Now there are a lot of solutions that do this. And, Alex, you just brought up this other slide, which I think is
about automation, because you said
automation.
Find a partner to automate. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. And here's what happens when you do this well. So what we did is we did the survey. We know that lenders don't communicate effectively and often enough with their customers, just plain and simple.
Yeah.
So we wanted to figure out, well, what happens when you do? So we have an Insellerate, we have our CRM and our engagement platform. Engagement platform automates emails, text messages, social media posts, phone calls, direct mail, ringless voicemail, closing gifts, all these different types of touch points. Not every lender uses our software for engagement. Some use competitors' engagement type software, or they just don't think there's any value in it. So they don't create automatic, email follow-up drip campaign type system. So we compared lenders on our platform that did use multi-channel engagement, 2 or more passive engagement, meaning email, text, and something else that would communicate to this customer over a long period of time. And we compared 27 lenders that did not use our engagement versus 26 that did. So a pretty good even split. We compared 274,000 loan inquiries. So we're talking a lot of data over a 2-year period that turned into 9,500 funded loans. And the punchline is this graph to the right. And if what you look at it is overall, here's the conversions. If you're in gray, so bank rate, you bought bank rate leads, you did not use engagement, you funded 5.85 out of 100. You use bank rate, you funded 8.18 out of 100. So that's, 2.3 loans more. Look at the math. It's another $25,000 in revenue for the same dollar spent. Let's say you buy lead pops. Let's say, lead pops is a lot of lenders, a lot of loan officers out there might use lead pops
it's a growing company.
Yeah, to capture lead forms. Our lenders that use lead pops that use engagement, 6.75% versus 3.5%. So, the math there it shows that if you do this well, this is the result. You're talking improving conversions by 200-300%. That's massive, right? Think about the money, the massive amount of dollars would be different in your bank account if you improved your conversions by 200 or 300%. So that's what we're seeing. So you can, this is what this means. Go out there and do this, right? This is the value. This is what this can do for you.
Well, let's be clear here for just a second. So everybody on this call, you all understand that when we get together, me, Josh, Dave get together and we say, hey, let's share something with the industry. Let's talk about something important. We're looking to educate, teach, and share because we're part of this community. But we also have the solutions for these things. We're the expert. We're talking about the things that we're the experts of. Yeah. And so if you're hearing this and you're using Bankrate, LeadsPop, direct mail, Monster, Zillow, if you're using these things, look at these numbers. Okay. If that looks good, okay, don't wait. You know how to put in Insellerate.com. You know how to schedule a conversation. Stay here on this call. Keep listening, but you don't have to wait. This is enough to explore. How are you doing that? Josh isn't going to make you sign a contract. He's going to talk to you about what you're doing and how he can improve that, right? And so just important to understand that when we're here and we're showing you all this stuff, it's not just education. It's if this is interesting to you, Meg is here, Josh is here, reach out to Insellerate and ask the question, because all of us here want you to do more. All of us, not just Josh, not just you, Dave. We all are looking for the industry to come back. Okay. And so here's some tools and resources that are tested and proved and researched and refined so that you can get these results. Okay. So I just want to make that point to everyone on this call.
Hey, Alex, if you can stop sharing the screen real quick. I saw someone had asked the question if this has been done in the past year. And guys, I've been doing this for 37 years, and speed to lead has always been one of the most predictive indicators of conversion. And now with modern day technology, that speed to lead, like it used to be, if you got back within an hour, old school phones, that was pretty good, but it really is minutes now. But I want to share something else. This is, I don't have 1,000 people that I studied, but last year I interviewed Myron Chamberlain. He's the #1 producer for prime lending. #1 out of 1,000 loan officers. And not only is he speed to lead guy, but I interviewed him because he kills it with the sales boomerang alerts. He calls every one of those alerts between 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning. #1 producer. And it was as simple as not just speed to lead on new deals, speed to lead on data signals. Yes. Just a few hours ago, it'll be in our YouTube channel later on today, I interviewed Kyle Wright. Now, when I asked him if he was the #1 loan officer, he's like, they're still working out the numbers. So #1, or the #2 lender for American Pacific Mortgage. So guys, what was he doing? Same thing as Myron's doing. He's calling all of his alerts speed to lead. And you know what else he's doing? He's buying leads. He's 95% purchase. So when he's investing in leads, he's investing it so he can be more valuable to realtors. And here's the deal, guys. As mortgage professionals, the real estate industry is getting disrupted. Insurance agents are getting disrupted. Financial planners and CPAs, like technology is coming and doing their job. But as a human being, if you're using technology, so you can be the first one there, and then if you're making sure that every morning you're calling your alerts, these are the most important things in this market. I mean, this is a very different market than the past. This is not a volume market. The good news about 2023 is it's not a pivot year. Like the pivot happened. And rates went to 2%. And so I do think we are in a new era in mortgage. For my 37-year career, rates have gone down. You guys, they've gone down to 2%. They're not going to 1. They're not going to 0. So we've got to the bottom. And here's another news flash for everyone. 63% of every mortgage in America starts with a 3 or a 2. So it's going to be a new era in lending where we, if you want to optimize every lead, optimize every loan, we really need to master speed to lead. Yes. We need to master multi-channel communication.
Absolutely.
And you need to be an advisor. Again, we'll talk more as this conversation goes on, but you need to be able to show a consumer, hey, you should still buy now. So anyways, we'll keep rocking it out. Put your questions down below. But I hope the big takeaway is not only new leads, you need to be there fast, but all those signals that you're getting in your database, the one who gets there first is the one who wins.
That's absolutely, right, Dave. One of the studies that we looked at was MBA did a study about the average consumer only goes back to the same lender 18% of the time. But when they were surveyed, it was like 56% said they would go back to the original lender, but they just weren't there when they wanted that next transaction. They weren't there at the right time. And so that timing is absolutely key.
Here's another stat, everybody. I spoke at a virtual event to about 40 people just a couple of days ago, 2 days ago. And at the end of my presentation, I was doing Q&A, and a realtor, Thomasina London, she's been a realtor for 20 years. And she said on 12/20, for the first time in my 20-year history, I had 3 escrows fall out. And she said, now one of them, there's nothing you could do about it. Like it was just one of those things. But she goes, after hearing your presentation, hearing about Sales Boomerang, MortgageCoach, CRM, she's like, I'm not going to work with the same loan officers. In fact, she goes, I didn't know it, but I'm already working with a mortgage coach because they can provide advice, not price. So she loved this term, and we made this slide for y'all. It's called the 8 daily habits of the data-driven mortgage professional.
Take a picture, whatever you need to do, write them down real quick. That's why we kept it on screen for you guys.
Yeah, and the only edit, I might edit the slide. Instead of professional, it's advisor. Being professional is not enough, guys. Like we need to be actual advisors. So we'll talk about these things. I would recommend, on this call, we have a lot of managers, we have a lot of leaders. And so another theme this year is we actually need to train our loan officers up. Like this is not a year where we tell them stories and teach them strategies. This is a year where we teach them skills and we help them create habits of being a data-driven loan officer or data-driven mortgage advisor. And I love that little thumbs up. Anybody else give us a little reaction? But we need to really lean in and get our loan officers all executing, all operating with best practices. Oh, there we go. So we all agree with that, right?
Yes. Well, I think if I stop sharing, then we can see all the thumbs up.
I like Patty Newberry. Yes, pivot again. And Patty is one of those. She's top producer. Is it Dallas or Austin? I always forget which one you're in, Patty. But just a spectacular data-driven mortgage professional. She's using her CRM. She is delivering a mortgage coach total cost analysis to every family she serves. She's in Dallas, 82 million. So blessed. Great job, Patty. Anybody else want to have a question? Well, we got slides and we have things that we want to make sure we teach you and tell you. We want to make sure all your questions get answered. So put your questions down below.
You want to jump into this, Dave?
I'll jump into anything, bro.
Go for it.
So you want to share the top strategy here?
Yeah.
What do you do? Let me share my screen just because I've been asked to speak at a lot of conferences. I'm actually gonna, after this, drive and speak to an office full of realtors. And what I'm going to talk to them about is these 6 megatrends of top producers. And the way I did this is I interview multiple loan officers every week, and we'll put a link in chat to this article of the 6 megatrends and the top 10 videos of Mortgage Coach Land. And I studied not only the top 10, but I looked at the top 20. And then I said, okay, out of these top 20, who are $100 million producers? Because not all of them did 100 million. Some of them were new officers, some of them were different people. But then I said, what are those megatrends? And it was just undeniable. Every single one of them was a data-driven mortgage advisor. They're using their CRM, all of them. Was it like 90% of them? It was like 100%. And they didn't use it weekly, or end of the day, like, guys, it was driving their business. It's how they get speed to lead, is that they're using it hourly, like it's driving their business. They are delivering Mortgage Coach digital experiences to consumers. They're having their database monitored, and they're calling the alerts first thing in the morning. So here's a couple of things before I do the number 2 things. I mentioned earlier that 63% of mortgages are less than 4. Well, guys, here's the number. Here's the deputy chief economist, one of the largest title organizations in the country. We have this at Boomerang too. I just wanted to bring in and let someone else show you. Guys, 23% start with a 2. 40% start with a 3.
Wow.
Keeping current matters has a great slide. By the way, everyone listening to this, your loan officers should be telling this to realtors.
Absolutely.
Make sure real estate agents know this, because 1, if you're the one that's showing this to them, you're a leader. Trust me, 90% of realtors in America don't know these stats. And number 2, you're able to say, you know what? Let me show how I can help solve this problem. I'm a data-driven mortgage advisor. I got a CRM. I monitor my database. I can deliver presentations to get move-up buyers to move up. But Alex, the top 2 things are number one, you guys, y'all need to be able to have the date the rate, marry the house conversation. You know, I interviewed Jeremy.
Dave, let me throw something in that you just something someone, when we were interviewing, and I can't remember her name, I think she was with Josh. She said, and this is important, we're talking about the number two most important strategy. You guys got that list? You took a list, a picture of that. Talking about the number two most important strategy here with realtors. We were interviewing someone about how she positions herself mentally. Okay. By the way, surrounded by technology, utilizing data, borrower intelligence to be on time early and be very valuable, using automation to make sure that when she's busy, her system is working for her. But it's also her mindset where she said she is going to manage her agent's paycheck. Just think about that concept for a second. I think this was like her 4th year in the business, or 3rd year. Remember, she was with Josh. With Josh, there were 2 of them, two ladies there with us, and I just can't remember her name right now.
I don't either.
Yeah, but her mindset was just brilliant in that I'm going to manage my realtor's paycheck. So this is what Dave is talking about. This is having these conversations. Dave, if you want to bring that back up, having these conversations with your realtors, educating them, or Josh, it looks like you had something you want to bring up, educating them, because they don't know. If you think they know, you're wrong. So give your partners the information and the data that you have from your sources. And for realtors specifically, if you can have a mindset, maybe you can have everyone in your company listen to music, or in the background you're saying, manage your agent's paycheck, if you can have everyone have that mentality, this year looks very different.
So go ahead, Josh. And then
go ahead. I was just going to say, Dave, that, what you're saying, I mean, from what we see makes a ton of sense, because the only thing that we can separate ourselves in this industry is service and knowledge. That's it. Service and knowledge. So it's how do you improve service? And then how do you have the knowledge, right? How do you give someone examples? I mean, I was a loan officer years ago, and I was, I averaged 44 loans a month in 1999, which I think was pretty impressive back then. And what I can tell you is everyone I talked to, I basically did a very manual, not as good as the total cost analysis, because it wasn't necessarily around for me at the time. But here's a 1-point option, here's a 0-point option, here's a 15-year loan, here's a 30-year loan. I don't care what you choose. I'm just here to advise you to get you the best loan, save you the most money, get you into the house. And that's what works, because you're there to give people advice, right? And so having the info is what's going to separate yourself. Knowing these stats and being able to communicate is going to put you in the driver's seat. Oh, this loan officer. So if you're a loan officer, they know all this stuff. I bet you they know guidelines. So when I send them a loan, they're probably going to understand what qualifies, what doesn't qualify, and things like that. That's how you really establish yourself. Because that's what, if you're a realtor on here, you want number one thing you want is, I want a loan officer that can pre-qualify my customer, close the loan quickly. And it's the loan that they say they're going to get, right? That they close the way they say they're going to close. That's the need.
So guys, so that person that Alex was talking about was Katrinka.
Yes, that's it.
The one who got it. And then Jessica Uphoff. Guys, this is a loan officer that did over $200 million in 2021. Like, she killed, or 2022.
222, not 21.
So in So last year she did over 200 million. Her volume was not that down. Her goal this year is 388. Guys, she defines what a modern mortgage advisor is, what a digitally driven mortgage advisor is. She's using her CRM hourly. She's monitoring it. She's using those alerts with realtors. She's giving you total cost analysis. I'm putting 2 links in chat, guys. One to the interview that Alex and I did together, so you can hear Katrinka, hard times, lead, create strong people. And then I did an interview because I was like, what, Jessica? You did 200 million this year? Like, we got to drill down on that. And so I interviewed her as well. What was that, 4 weeks ago? So guys, we want to give you massive value. Now, you're a manager or a leader. So one, you need to watch this content so well that you can teach these ideas, and then leverage our content to inspire your loan officers and to get them to do the right things. So I just want to net out the top 2 strategies, guys, because it's really simple. It's date the rate, marry the house, And one of the common themes when I interviewed Jeremy Forcier this Tuesday was his realtor playbook. He was like, all of my mortgage strategies are showing affordability options. I'm always showing a 2-1 buy down, a seller concession buy down. And then notice over here, guys, he's saying, hey, you can buy the house with affordability strategies, which, by the way, if rates go down, do you think sellers are going to be getting concessions? No. If rates go down, there's going to be bidding wars again. So he's like, look, you can buy now with seller concessions or a buy down, and then you can refi later. Jeremy uses 4.5% because that's what Fannie Mae say rates are going to within the next 2 years. So whatever, like two things we know for sure: spring home buying season is coming, and then we also know rates are coming down. They're not going to just go up; they go up before they come down. But sooner or later, they're going to come down. We just don't know when, how low, and how fast. So you need to be able to have the date, the rate, marry the house conversation, number one. And then number two, guys, you need to be able to have the divorce, the rent conversation. Now, I put that under realtor leadership because actually, where is that strategy? Well, I put it under realtor leadership because realtors need, and I'll show a screenshot of that in just a minute, but realtors need your help getting renters off the fence and into escrow. So you need to like, hey, here's renting. Hey, here's an affordability strategy. And then sometimes you need to show a house hacking option. First-time home buyers. Like a lot of first-time home buyers don't realize that, you know what, hey, you can rent out a bedroom. You can Airbnb some of that. You could buy units. So, you know, in this market, you need to bring ideas and strategies for families to build wealth with real estate and to solve their problems. And guys, one of the core central problems in today's market is there's affordability crisis in America. And that's a real crisis. It's a real issue. And the only way you can help solve that is if you are showing tactics and strategies. So I will show.
I think Laura just said, this is the phrase of the year for me. Rent is 100% rate. That's brilliant. Rate is you're 100% right, Laura. That's a great way to get someone to understand what they're doing with their rent. Rent is 100% rate. Wow.
Yeah. So I just want to show this real quick before we
yeah,
get
show.
out.
So that's the second part of that, right, Dave?
You all to visually get it, because this is part two. It's, you know, remember, date the rate, marry the house, divorce rent. It's kind of a two-part strategy. You're showing column A, rent, column B, no credit, column C, a seller credit, or a 2-1 buy down. You know, you may show multiple options, but always show those. This is a first-year loan officer. So Ryan Wise, on his 9th month of the business, did $1 million in production because he's a digitally driven, data-driven mortgage advisor. And this is where he showed a consumer, look, here's some different options. This one's with a buy down, without a buy down. And then this one over here is, what if you bought that 3-bedroom house and you rented out 2 bedrooms at $625, and you gave that $625 to either a financial planner or put it in an asset accumulating account, you know, tax-free municipals. Look what that is going to look like in 5 years. So guys, this is the kind of conversation that we need to be able to have to get first-time homebuyers off the fence into escrow. And remember, in this market, every realtor's up for grabs. You need to like bring the data to them, and then you need to be able to show them how you're going to help solve that problem for them.
Josh, I saw you looking at that slide. Like, I needed that when I would have done 80 loans a month instead of 40.
Yeah, that would have made it a lot easier. I can tell you what. Right? Yeah, no doubt.
I love it. That was great. That was a great conversation. So let me share my screen. Let's jump into this next part of the conversation, which is, can you guys see this all right? Because it was all gray on my screen. You guys are good?
We're good.
Okay. Wasn't sure. I don't know if you guys were seeing what I was seeing. Okay. So let's talk about strategy number 3. Okay. Separating good from great. Josh, I think just the comments you've made a moment ago about your career, you went from being good to great. You went above what's expected. Let's talk about, I think you'd be the perfect one to start this conversation. Speed, frequency, ease, clarity. Let's talk about how do you set, we already went over some of your stats, but how do we do this? How, and then how easily can it, not just easily, you know what? Let's not make everything so easy that there's no value in actually using it, right? Like, but how can the right partner, Josh, right?
Yeah.
Make all of these things work?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we've done and what we looked at in the study is just that is when we look at communication, it's the speed of communication, meaning how quickly you initially respond, how quickly you give people information as it changes, right? Your frequency, how often you speak to them. Then there's the ease of communication, which is sometimes more as much as how often and how easy is it to communicate to you? Can they text you? Can they call you? Can they email you and have a conversation with you easily, just the same, right? And this clarity, which I think is, one of the things that we, really like about the Sales Boomerang and MortgageCoach integration is that when you get all these things lined up, then the clarity is I'm calling you because there's a reason, because I can help you here, and here's how I can help you, and here's the data to tell you I can help you. And I notice there's, you're buying a house. This is taking place. Let me, help you this way. So having the speed, being able to communicate efficiently at the right time, right? Frequency, you have to stay in front of people, make it easy for them to communicate with them, and then have something of relevance to say, right? That's what you're going to have to do. You put those together, then that's really where you get, your uptick in conversion, right? That's how you separate yourself.
I hear you saying all that, but then you do these studies that show that people aren't doing it. So,
yeah, well, it's because technology. Listen, when I was a loan officer in 1999, people that I'm talking to right now, you guys are using some of the same software that I was using in 1999. I couldn't do it then. You can't do it.
Famous Southwest and the FAA. Yeah.
Well, that's right. Listen, I just wrote an article about that, but that's that. What way I look at it is, we watched the old technology shut down all the airlines. Old technology shut down Southwest. We lost flights. And in our industry, it's not shutting our industry down, except for it's making our cost to produce come up to $11,000 when it used to be less than, in 2009, it was $3,900. So what's happening to us is our old technology that has not kept up with the modern times is costing us. It's costing us a lot of money. I mean, a massive amount of money. So we are seeing what happens here. And it's not hard to do this. That's the thing. You can go out there and you have to look and go, all right, my technology, when was it built? When was it foundationally built? And you have to start understanding what new programming looks like.
Yes.
And all right, where is it?
You got to ask the questions, though.
You got to ask the question. How is it hosted? What's the code? I mean, I talked to some other CEOs of other quote unquote mortgage tech companies over the past 5-6 years, and we'll talk about integration and say, hey, what's your code base? What's your database? And their response is, we have a guy that can tell you that. And it's like, wow, this is a technology company in the mortgage industry, and the executives don't understand technology. They may, so you have to really look at, I think that's why. And
you see the outcomes.
You got to ask the right questions.
You got to ask the right questions, guys, because there are companies that want to do well and want to serve, but they're just on outdated technology, and it needs to be able to integrate and work together and communicate together with ease and with value. The name of the game right now isn't just one thing that does it all. It's partnering with the best of the best and integrating and making things work for you. So you have the speed, you have the frequency, you have the ease, you have the clarity, but not all of that has to come from one place. Not all of that's coming just from Insellerate. Not all that's coming just from MortgageCoach. Not all that's coming just from Sales Boomerang. It is the collaboration and the integration between all of those companies. By the way, the best in the industry, right? There's a reason that the three of these organizations are the best in industry. It is about understanding where technology is going, not just we're not solving yesterday's problems, right? We're looking forward and paving the road for that, so that yesterday's problems aren't potholes anymore, right? And that's what great technology partners do. So
hey, real quick, I want to insert something. If you could stop sharing your screen real quick.
Sure.
So who was that? So Ada or 80? Sorry if I pronounced you wrong. She wanted to know what camera I'm using. So I'm using God, what is it? Oh, 360 link. Guys, it's amazing. It's an AI powered camera. The mic is great. If I wanted to have it, it'd follow me. So
when you lean back, it zooms in.
Yeah, I turned that off just a minute ago. But I want to weigh in on this good to great, because this reminded me of a super important interview I just did. And I just did this interview yesterday. So like, this is one day off the press. This hit our YouTube channel. This is Jeremy Forcier. By the way, this video has been watched over 1,000 times. So it just hit our YouTube channel yesterday. It's called Jeremy's 2023 Realtor Playbook. And to me, the way he's operating, epitomizes the difference between good and great. And what I wanted to call out on what Jeremy said, I already put a link in chat, guys. But Jeremy, I started the interview with like, hey, what is your focus for the year? And he goes, I've got 3 words, and it's about growth. And then he unpacked what growth means to him. It's about uniformity. I'll come back to that in just a second. And about fun. And so first of all, guys, we need to have fun, and it's hard to have fun right now. Like, the macroeconomics aren't fun. The fact that, so many people have 2 and 3 and rates are over, 6 or whatever the number is today, not fun. But if you do the right things, it can be fun. But I want to focus on the difference between good and great, because I've interviewed over 1,000 loan officers. It is uniformity. It is consistency. It is that they do the right things, like they're using their CRM daily, they're calling people, they're doing these things. And then the difference between the good and great managers, whether that's a branch manager, whether that's a regional leader, whether that's a head of production, is they're driving the one that has the most mortgage professionals delivering best practices consistently with uniformity, outproduces everybody else. It is the difference between good and great. Is that just, you can use the word consistency. One of the trends I think we will see in the mortgage industry this year, we are going to see managers manage. We're going to see companies, when there's a loan officer that is not, hitting their numbers, they're going to lean in. They're going to manage. They're going to provide accountability. And so I think it's everything we're talking about is critical, but it's about creating uniformity. It's about managing. It's about leading. And technology, it's like leading the horse to water. Like, here it is, use your CRM, call your alerts by 9 in the morning, give every family a total cost analysis. But the difference between good and great this year, Jeremy nailed it. It's going to be uniformity. What managers, what companies can create cultures where loan officers have these habits, because even when rates start coming down, if you're not using your CRMs, you're not monitoring your database, like the loan officers that are, they're going to take that. They're going to take your market share. They're going to get like our CRM integration combined with an alert creates a total cost analysis, guys.
Yeah.
So like the machine within seconds, talking about speed to lead, within a minute of getting an alert that, oh, someone ran a credit report with someone else. Oh, someone just listed their home. Oh, someone just hit the money with equity. Oh, this person's a cash out refi. Like, the machine for digitally driven mortgage advisors, it's right there. And the companies and the leaders that can train their loan officers to actually act on that, crush it.
It's all the difference. It's all the difference. And by the way, to be clear too, like, Josh, between our 2 companies, it's the fastest integration. Like we've figured it out because we know the importance of working quickly. By the way, the chat is on fire and I love it. And I want to go back to Candace's question. Okay. Candace asked a great question. You guys can find it, but I'll read it here too. What is your opinion on, and this is what you said, Josh, what is your opinion on why cost to originate has tripled if more are adopting tech? Is it because companies are trying to patch tech into old systems instead of using the right tech from platform up? I love that question. Josh, you want to take that first? And then I got another one to read.
Yeah, I would say that, the answer to that question is it's the wrong group of technology. Right. And And then the second thing is, I mean, there's the other underlying thing is we have to understand.
One second. I think you said something abstract, and I want to unpack it for just a second. Don't forget what you were going to say. When you say it's the wrong set of technologies, can you be more specific? Like, what does that mean, the wrong set? You don't need to name names, but just explain what you mean.
You have an LOS system with a system that is called a CRM, but actually isn't a CRM, is a marketing automation platform that you can send out emails and you can message from, but isn't a customer relationship management tool that actually manages phone calls, text messages, emails, and all the data flow between all the systems. So it's fundamentally, the term CRM for a while wasn't, no one liked the name, like, oh, we don't like the CRM name in the mortgage industry, is because the CRMs that people were using weren't really CRMs. They're marketing platforms. Great. Loan officers like to use it. You can market with it, but they weren't CRMs. Now CRM is becoming really popular again because people are starting to realize, oh, a CRM isn't just a marketing platform. It's this thing that can actually help me be more efficient across my organization. Right. Talking to my customers, interacting with them differently. So I think that's, really what we're seeing is just how do you make sure you have the right pieces put together?
So number one, the wrong tech, but I'm going to challenge you a little bit. And I bet this is going to excite some people that what I'm about to ask. You are a CRM, Josh. So it's very easy to say the CRM was the wrong tech, right? Because you're here and you're the right CRM. That can't be the only
part. It's not the only one. Yeah. Here's the other thing. I mean, it's regulation, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what people need to understand is when TRID came out originally, I mean, 10 years ago, and then TILA and all this stuff, it increased the cost to produce every loan. So, I remember when at People's Bank, we had a compliance department in, say, 2010 of, 4 people. By 2018, it was like 45 people. And there was an outsourced company that we had to pay as well to do review, because it's just the amount of compliance and cures and there's a lot of stuff that went on in the back office. There's a lot of human work that goes on. Mm-hmm. Lots of manual hours of someone redoing the same work. So I think that's another thing. But again, that is because the technology they're using is from 25 or 30 years ago. Literally, it is. And it's not made the evolution yet to make it more efficient, right? It's like you can't lower the cost to produce your loans doing it the same way, right? You can't just hire better people. I think we've all hired as better people as we can to get them to do more, and you can't ask them to do more. So now you have to fundamentally change how you do
infrastructure. It's time to rebuild the infrastructure. So Candace, it sounds like Josh is in complete agreement with your statement that it's old technology trying to patch it up to make it work, and it's just going to keep working slower and slower. I mean, look, phones, a lot of people complain about phones, dying and you need new ones, but it's not the phone that's dying. It's the technology surpassing the piece of technology that you already own. The hardware is being surpassed by the software. And so it's not that the phone is dying. You need new hardware to support the speed of the software. And it's just not happening in all places. And so for sure, that is a big issue. Great question there. And then
real quick, I want to share something. Mm-hmm. Guys, I want you to write this down. Like CRM is a term that everybody knows. Like, oh, what's my CRM? What's the best CRM? Guys, write down BIP. This year, 2023, is going to be the year where a new technology category is born, and it's actually already been born. It's called a borrower intelligence platform, and Josh's company and his CRM integrates with a borrower intelligence platform. So the whoever asks what's the best CRM, it's the one that you use and the one that integrates with a borrower intelligence platform. And that is us, guys. This is what we do. If this is what your database looks like, where you're like, oh, who's in the money? Who's most likely to move up? Who's most likely to buy a second home? This looks like a household with a first-time home buyer. Oh, these people are a cash out refi. Like if you're not getting signals in your CRM, which Insellerate is, and then here's the deal, guys. Like this borrower intelligence platform goes from signals and insights, like, oh, there's a consumer that, might be a move-up buyer, and I can partner with a realtor. Oh, I got a listing alert. Let's create an affordability strategy to go to that real estate agent and say, hey, realtor, I can help you sell this home. And let's have it also create, or you can create a something for the move up buyer. And if it doesn't integrate with MortgageCoach, which by the way, guys, Sales Boomerang, we're one company, we've got big news coming, but we integrate. So one, I want to make sure, if you do want to really get behind our vision, like we have a vision here that all borrowers can achieve financial freedom. And guys, this is important. Like, you got to stop selling rates and fees, and you got to start selling financial freedom. Like, because trust me, the people that have a 2% rate, you're not going to beat that rate. You got to sell, hey, buy this house and you can achieve financial freedom faster. And our mission, like, this is the mission that we have, but you have to have a similar mission. Like, we're here to empower lenders and loan officers to become lifelong champions for borrowers. But you need to be able to make that statement to a borrower. You need to be able to tell realtors, hey, realtors, I have a CRM that monitors databases. Guys, this is where it's at. So one, I want to have Josh share how people can learn more about his CRM. We'll put links for both Josh and MortgageCoach and Sales Boomerang MortgageCoach. If for all you guys that want to use technology, just put your camera up against this. And we would love to schedule a strategy session with you. But Josh, before we run out of time, I want to make sure that you tell folks how to meet up with you. Remember, guys, put your questions. We still have time to get to some questions. But Josh, tell us how we can connect with you.
Yeah, if you look right now in the chat, there's a link there. You can just click on it, go to our website, ask for a demo, ask for a conversation, and someone from our sales team will reach out to you, and we can take it from there. Real simple.
So guys, just a meeting with Josh's team has value. Like, these guys are experts. They've worked with countless companies helping lenders and loan officers speed to lead. Like, how can we get to that lead? How can we multi-channel communicate with text and email? How can we not just get speed to lead, but advice to lead?
Yeah.
And then by the way, how can we know all the people in our database that are having all these signals and all these insights and deliver advice? So keep putting your questions down. Alex, I want to make sure we get to all the questions, and I know there's probably something you want to say to that, but let's rock it out.
No, I think this is great. I think like finishing words or any final thoughts. There was a question. I'm going to try and find it real quick that somebody was asking, but the chat is so busy today, which I love. That
hey, while you're pulling that up, one more thing. I'm interviewing top producers, weekly, multiple top producers per week. And one of the things that I'm committed to doing a better job, guys, it's we've got hundreds. I mean, I did over 200 interviews last year. So if you want to get the highlights, like the goods, sign up for my text group. Just text 949-799-0837. You can also go to savageinsights.com. There's also a link for a demo. Also, a lot of the things I mentioned today, like that 6 megatrends of $100 million producers, just go to Savage Insights and you can get that. Also, there's a reminder on this number. Just go to savageinsights.com.
So there was a question for you, Josh. Does Insellerate Connect integrate with Encompass? I think you guys are close up there.
Yeah, definitely. We're an Encompass partner. We've been, that's also one of the things that you think is fundamentally is you have to have all your technology integrated, right? So I think to that, yes, we integrate, and that is something else that you guys start thinking about. Your solutions you use, your borrower intelligence, your total cost analysis, your CRM, your LS, they work seamlessly together. And I think that's what we're talking about here. Is what's great is we know the market has been tough, but we also know that customer service and a lot of lenders don't do as good of a job as they can. And if we can use technology, we can easily automate this, right? It's about 100% of the time reaching out to the people when you should versus only when you remember, because we can only remember so much.
So Josh, there's another person saying, hey, how's Insellerate versus Jungo or Salesforce, which is pretty much this. Don't answer that question here. Here's what I would say, Lindsay. go talk to Josh in person. That's what I would say. Get your team together and go have that conversation. Somebody's asking if you also integrate with Calyx Point. Guys, love the questions. So what your chat is telling us is that the information that Dave just shared, that Josh just talked about, that I was sharing, is truly driving action, which is what this is about. Information that turns into action. So all those questions, email Meg, email Josh, schedule a call, get all those things answered. But don't just ask a question and be like, okay, I got my answer. Dig in, find out what it's better. Why? This is why. Okay, great. No. How did you do that? What do you plan to do next? Make sure you guys, same thing when you call us and you talk to us about, we have conversations, Josh, I don't know, I'm sure I've shared this with you before. We have conversations with people that come over to us and say, I was using some other service. How come yours was more accurate and we got it faster? And it's like exactly what Josh was saying. It's this, this is what we do. This is all we do. This is what we focus in. And so when you talk to Josh, when you talk to us, dig in, right? Like we're doing this right now publicly. Imagine how much more we can get into when we're on the phone personally, all the things we can disclose, all the things that we give to our partners and our customers. So dig in with us. This is what we're here for. Anyway, really enjoyed this, guys. I mean, this is a great way to kick off the year. What a great conversation. And audience, thank you so much. Your participation actually guided nearly the entire thing. So yes, definitely. Let's give some love. Josh,
give Alex a hand, everybody. Give this crew a hand. Give yourselves a hand, guys. This is again, macroeconomics aren't going to be in our favor, but we're in the mortgage business. And when you look at all the referral-based advisors that are out there, realtors, CPAs, financial planners, insurance agents, they're more challenged than we are. Like we can be the most valuable advisor to a consumer if we're following these 6 megatrends that I highlighted. If you're using your CRM, if you're using a CRM that integrates and is committed to speed to lead, speed to advice, and guys, we're also committed to turning data into databases. That's one of the megatrends, is turning a database into a data bank. And that means creating predictable income. So it's like, oh, if you've got 1,000 past customers as a loan officer, it equals this many loans every single year. And if you're a company, a lender, and you've got 100,000, mortgages under management, we're going to close this many loans, like anywhere from this many to this many, depending on rates. But if you're following these things, these mortgage under management principles, creating these loan officers that are data-driven mortgage advisors, like predictable income. It's in our hands. We just got to execute. So thanks, everybody. We appreciate y'all.
Josh, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I just say thanks to everyone. And as you guys take these tips, one thing I can say, I was a loan officer for years. I managed loan officers up and down markets. Hard, consistent work never goes unpaid. Do the things now, be consistent, do the work. You will see the benefits.
Hard, consistent work never goes unpaid. Write that down, guys. That's I'm
round
going
of
to
applause on that. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And if anybody wants to know the camera one more time, go to our Facebook group, ask a question. If we get it unanswered, Mortgage Coach, Productivity Mastermind, the Sales Boomerang and Mortgage Coach team, we're there to make sure you get your questions answered.
You want to tell everybody your camera?
I already told them it's a 360 link. Type in 360, the numbers, 360 hyphen link. There's a hyphen in between if you Google it, but you'll find it. It's the hottest digital, newest, latest and greatest. It's like $300. Maybe it's
when I first saw Dave doing that, I thought his wife was holding the camera. I was like, "What? You got your wife holding the camera for you?"
Yeah, so I just activated the AI piece. So like, what's
yeah, I was like, Dave, what's going on over there?
Come back over here. All right, take care, guys.
See you guys. Thanks so much.